Namaste, Venus lovers, soul tribe, friends, and family. It's Dr. Danny. I am back to give you some astrology energy for Venus through Pisces, the dream within the dream. Venus will be in Pisces for approximately a little over 4 weeks from March 27th to April 30th. There's also a total solar eclipse during this transit. Pretty much everything's going to be in Pisces, with the exception of Jupiter, Uranus, Mars, and Saturn. And then Pluto, of course, is hanging out in Capricorn. So before I get started, I just want to tell you guys about the Venus Practicum courses. Over the past couple of months, I've put together two-hour courses. It's 4 hours of content all about Venus. You will learn about Venus through the houses, through the planets, in aspect with other planets, Venus cosmology, numerology, frequency. You're going to look at Venus in an entirely different way. And then in the Advanced Venus Practicum, I talk about how to use Venus in transits, how to do these kinds of transits, how to work with them with their own natal chart. It's incredible. The group of people that I had on both courses are really enjoying the content, and we are going to be getting together to help each other work with our own Venus energy. So stay tuned for announcements on that. That's going to happen in April. Speaking of April, some very big news on my front. As you guys know, I'm a physician, but I've been in private practice for over 12 years, and that phase of my life is ending in just by the time this video comes out, by the end of this particular week. And I'm taking 2 weeks off to go watch the eclipse. And then on April 15th, I start my new job, but I'll be doing shift work. So you will have a lot more of my attention for readings and courses and just all kinds of fabulous things I've got in the pipeline. So I would love for you guys to check out those courses. I'm going to leave links for both of them below. You can get them in a bundle on my course website at learn.drdanny.com. And of course, I'm still doing my Venus-centered natal readings and Venus forecast readings for you personally. And what we do is basically watch what Venus does to your chart and how the other planets affect your natal Venus. So why do we study Venus? Why am I following Venus? Why do I call myself a Venus specialist? A lot of astrologers kind of gloss over Venus and just talk about the planet Venus as, just relationships or money or, balance and harmony. And she is all of those things, but she's so much more than that. If you want to really tap in to the divine creation inside you, the energy that inspires you to do things, to manifest effortlessly, to access immortality through your creative legacy, then understanding Venus energy in your chart, how it's blocked, how to unblock it, how to work with it is so important. It's really amazing. Ever since I started watching Venus, my life has changed in innumerable and wonderful ways. Yeah, there's been a lot of transitions, and a lot of, mixed emotions around all of it, but overall it's been wonderful and for my own highest timeline. So I strongly encourage you all to follow me on this Venus journey. It's truly fantastic. So I'll leave all the links below for that. So what do you say we get into it? The dream within the dream, Venus energy through Pisces, probably the dreamiest of the constellations that she'll go through. Let's just walk her through the sky through this transit. We're going from March 27th to April 30th. So as you can see, she's just entered Pisces. That is the total solar eclipse. Where I live, it's going to be pretty much totality, about 3 hours north of me. And my husband and I are going to travel and go check that out. I'm super excited. So she travels through, and then on the 30th, we'll enter into the small, itty bitty, tiny constellation of Aries. And then it's a whole new cycle. Incidentally enough, Venus is in the last 2 months of her greater 20-month cycle. So by June 4th, we'll be getting another superior conjunction of Venus with the sun. And what that means is it's kind of like a Venus new moon. Or a new moon with, a new moon. It's a time to set new intentions, to start new projects, to think about what you want to do next on that greater creative cycle as Venus orbits the sun one more time. And then in 2025, we'll have the superior conjunction and another Venus retrograde. So that's space right there. Let's take a look at the transit chart here as well. well, animated. I have Venus here, right here on March 27th. You can see she's just entered into Pisces from Aquarius, leaving the arms of Saturn and entering the arms of Neptune. So we'll talk about all that energy and watch her as she moves through here. So there's that conjunction with Neptune. Oh, such beautiful energy. Not a lot of harsh aspects at all. Then she moves into the space of the eclipse after the eclipse is over. With Mercury. Mercury also, did you see that? You guys, I missed that. Let me show you this because this is important too. Mercury is going to go retrograde right after the eclipse or right before the eclipse and head back towards the nodes and then cross back over the sun, back over Chiron in the north node, conjunct Venus, and then Venus is going to move into the space of Chiron in the nodes. And then after that, she's going to finish her transit in Pisces and begin so they're about 10 degrees apart on this orb right now at the end of this transit, the Sun and Venus. And by the time they're both through the constellation of Aries, she will be approaching the Sun, and on June 4th will make her superior conjunction. So very exciting time for Venus energy, a brand new cycle just on the horizon. So if y'all are feeling stuck or stagnated in your Venus energy, just sit with it in this dreamy Pisces. Just think of the sky's the limit. Just let your mind flow, let your body feel into whatever's happening. And in pretty short order, things are going to start getting more and more interesting. So I have for you my typical time maps that I drew up for you. This is the end of March right here. We've just finished the Virgo full moon lunar eclipse. I did do a video on that. That dropped last week. That is called the Finger of God. It's the worm moon. It's a full moon. It's a penumbral lunar eclipse, which means it's not a total lunar eclipse. So the moon will darken just a little bit. But this is a great time to let go of any old and stagnating and stale energy and leave it behind and get ready for the total solar eclipse. So what is Venus in Pisces? So this is a dreamy, loving, spiritual energy. Here, Venus is the muse. If Venus is in Pisces in your chart, she brings the surreal to the material, right? So anything that your mind can think of, Venus is going to be a part of that. And she's aroused by all that is possible here. So she's in love with the oneness of creation and aroused by the merging into oneness. There's an integration of the senses. So it's not just taste and touch and smell and feeling and in intuition. It's all integrated in this space. And so the Venus energy loves the illusion. So, watch a movie, watch a strange movie, read a strange book, let your mind wander. And she is also loving the fantasy that subsumes the mind. So anything that is so out there that just completely gives away to rational thought, that's where Venus needs to be right now. Now, if you have Venus and Pisces in your chart, you don't feel this way. There could be a block. And the block to Venus energy manifests as distracted, as heartbroken, as unable to complete anything. So you have there's a little bit of spark. There's like a light at the bottom of the ocean that can't quite be seen. And you're really unable to complete anything. And you have difficulty differentiating reality and fantasy. So work with us on the Venus group. We can unblock that for you and open you up to just amazing levels of creation. Let's talk about some of these transits. So right as she crosses from Aquarius into Pisces, Venus is sextiling on Uranus. Uranus is conjunct Jupiter in Aries. So if we go back to that chart, actually I might have it. Well, we can look at the eclipse chart here. So Uranus and Jupiter are in Aries. They're very close now. They're conjunct. That energy is making us feel like time is speeding up a little bit. So what you've got with Uranus and Jupiter conjunct in Aries is this expansion of the metamorphosis of the self. So those are the key words, right? You have expansion with Jupiter, you have metamorphosis with Uranus, and you've got Aries, which is the self. You can also have faith in the unique self. You can have an overabundance of of rebellion as well. It's all sort of the same energy, right? You know, it's expansion into the unique self, having faith in that unique self to truly express that self. So when you sextile a Venus here, this is an opportunity. So opportunities are both polarities, right? You can use it for good or you can use it for darkness. So there's an opportunity to recreate your individuality in the space of your dreams or in the space of spirituality, and an opportunity to expand that vision. Okay, so sit with that, see where your imagination goes, because Uranus can take you to all kinds of crazy places. And because it's in Aries, it's part of you. Now, the dark side of this is there's an opportunity to lose the true self through a quick departure of reality. So stay grounded here too. Remember, Venus loves the earth and she loves her senses, and Pisces is water. So I recommend, now that it's getting a little warmer outside, or if you have access to something that is around water, waterfalls, hiking near water, a hot tub, a warm pool, a bath. That's where you can ground your Venus energy if you're feeling like you're not quite in reality. On the 28th, Venus will conjunct Neptune. This is a long conjunction. It lasts all the way into April, and it will finish on the 8th, the day of the solar eclipse. So what is this energy? Well, Neptune attains enlightenment through all that's possible. And in Pisces, we're in just the merging of boundaries, the limitless. Anything's possible with the creative and fantastic mind of Neptune energy. And then to have Venus conjunct this energy in Pisces, you can have this like transcendental experience, all that's possible, erosion of boundaries and merging of the self into the collective, which isn't always a good thing, right? Because sometimes our collective is a little bit wounded. We have a lot of deep subconscious fears and hangups within our collective. So it's very important to stay grounded here. And it really just represents the spectrum of all creative possibilities, as well as disillusion and illusion. One can be very easily seduced with this energy and might not actually mind being seduced. But do be cautious with substances that give you those transcendental experiences. I know some of us in the spiritual community enjoy those for the, you know, the energies that it gives us, but it might be a good idea actually during this conjunction at any rate to fast from those things and just use the meditation in a grounded space. All right. So that's the end of March. Pretty cool. The beginning of April is pretty similar. After that sextile to Uranus and Jupiter wear off, Venus is going to sextile Pluto in Capricorn. So, yes, my friends, Pluto is in Capricorn in constellational astrology. And Pluto moving through this space after spending 15, 20 years in Sagittarius, reworking our spiritual beliefs, reworking our faith, you know, questioning our beliefs, questioning our faith, is now moving into structure and government and achievement. So everything that we felt as solid ground now may begin to crumble beneath us if it wasn't built on the solid, authentic truths that that you find in Sagittarius as Pluto was transiting through there. So Pluto and Capricorn can be destruction and transformation of old structures and revealing hidden structures, and also catastrophic disruption of stability. Okay. So again, it's a sextile, so it's an opportunity. Which way do you want to go with this? On the side of light, you can connect deeply to the authentic truth of creation. You can wield enormous manifestation power here. There's strong bonds through arousal, and there's also powerful healing love here. On the dark side, one could obsess over creation, abuse through the energy of arousal, and be aroused by power. So very powerful time this weekend, right before the eclipse. Oh, and then there's the total solar eclipse. Let's just look at that. I'm just stunned when I look at this chart. I hope you guys are too, how incredibly powerful this energy is. It's literally like the entire solar system is standing in front of us and asking us to take a look at our evolution, because you've got the nodes here You got the South Node in Virgo, which is the mother energy. There's thousands of galaxies in Virgo. Creation is happening on a tremendous level here. But it's also the karmic patterns, the wounds of our ancestors, all just sort of reminding us, we're sitting down here in this space, and then you look and you gaze across the cosmos and you see the North Node, our destiny, our Dharma in Pisces, our evolutionary destiny towards universal love and oneness. The moon is there, which is our emotional, feminine inner side. The sun is there. It's our masculine, expressive side. You have Chiron there, integrating the wounds of the collective as we move towards this evolution. You got Neptune and Venus together, creating everything and anything that's possible within the dream, sextiling on Pluto, giving us enormous powers of manifestation. Okay. And then also this energy with Uranus and Jupiter. So expansion of the unexpected. I really don't know what to expect on this eclipse in general for the collective. All I know is it just feels like a really big message. We've got Earth here, we've got Sun here, and then we've got everything else. Okay. Just kind of showing us this energy, so how it actually like manifests for you individually all depends on where your natal placements are. I mean, so I would recommend getting a reading with your favorite astrologer. If I happen to be your favorite astrologer, I have a very big reading that's about an hour and a half long, where I go through your entire natal chart. I go through your big transits, and then I talk to you how this eclipse is going to affect you through the personal planets with Mercury, the Sun, Venus, and Mars. It's a spectacular reading. That one, however, had to go up in price because it takes me a long time to do these readings, probably about 5 or 6 hours to pull it all together for you. But I do have a smaller reading. It's called the 2024 Flash Solar Eclipse Reading. I'll leave a link for that below. It's basically just a quick review of your natal chart. And then I do a multi-wheel reading of the eclipse with your natal chart and point out some energies that might be interesting for you. And then also, because it's a new moon, I help you set the intention for the next lunar cycle and for the next 6 months for the eclipse. So it's a very valuable reading. It's a great price. It should take me less time to do them. So I'll leave a link down there for you. Oh, and then also on Facebook in the group Radical Astrology, some of my colleagues and I are going to get together and do a 2024 eclipse roundtable. There'll be 7 of us. That is going to be on Friday, March 29th, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. If y'all are on Facebook, come find us in those groups and you can watch that amazing presentation. It'll probably be on this channel a few days later after we do it. So I just want to get those announcements out of the way. Let's get back to the calendar so we can do the rest of these transits. I'm feeling pretty good. I was actually a little bit like, do I really want to do this tonight? But I'm glad I'm doing this for you guys. Let me erase these bubbles. It's been kind of bittersweet, switching jobs. A lot of patients that I've had for a very long time are very sad that I'm leaving. I mean, they're happy for me because I'm excited about this transition, but at the same time, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna miss you." So it's been a tough couple of months for me, and I am looking forward to this big shift in energy where I can focus my efforts on my true desire, which is to share with you a soul guided life through astrology and other things that I want to offer. And so here's the biggest story of this Venus transit. It's right here. It's Venus conjunct the North Node and Chiron and opposing the South Node. It happens on the exact same day that it starts the exact same day that Mercury and Sun are in an inferior conjunction. If you guys have talked with me before, you know that Venus and Mercury are special because they have 2 sun conjunctions. They have one in front of the Earth and they have one on the other side of the sun. And whenever Mercury or Venus are retrograde, that's their inferior conjunction. That's when they're the closest to planet Earth. So you have Sun here, you have Earth here, and then you've got Mercury in between the two. Okay. So Mercury transmits energy and we receive energy from him. And then we also transmit back. So it's an exchange of information. It's a transaction. People that channel get a lot of downloads during Mercury retrograde. Most people do. It's just those that aren't in tune with that, are overwhelmed, and it's hard for them to talk. It's hard for them to focus. That's why a lot of things fall apart when Mercury's in retrograde. And the peak of retrograde's right here when Venus moves into the space of the eclipse and starts to conjunct the North Node Chiron and opposes the South Node. So she's commenting on our collective evolution. At the same time, while Mercury's giving us all the downloads and switching direction, switching places with the sun, because up until now, since the last inferior conjunction at the end of February, Mercury's been in the lead. Then it's, Mercury, Sun, Venus, then Mars. Now it would be Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Okay. Until Venus and Mars conjunct, and then they switch places. But at any rate, let's talk about this energy. So this is the sensing and the feeling part of all of this energy that's been culminating up until now. And we're being inspired by the evolution of the collective, the integration and the acceptance of the collective wounds, which is Chiron, and then opposing the South Node, which is releasing the old patterns of injury, insult, and inauthenticity. Okay, so that's what this whole deal is about. I just dropped my pen, but I'm not going to go down there and get it. We can do it with the mouse. All right. So that energy lasts for a little bit. That goes from all the way to the 11th till the 27th. And the peak of it is right here between the 17th and the 18th, right as Mars enters Pisces. Or it might be Aquarius. I might have actually gotten that wrong. We'll look at a chart real quick. Let's do that. It'll be Aquarius. Okay. So Mars is entering Aquarius right there. The next transit, and that's all we have right after the eclipse. That's the only energy. You've got, the sextile to Pluto ending, the conjunction to Neptune separating. You've got this new moon happening where hopefully you're setting all your intentions, and then the energy is going to start to build, and it's all about our evolution. All right. And then Venus conjuncts a retrograde Mercury. So we get to have Mercury coming back towards us and conjunct with Venus. So this is the perfect combination of knowledge and wisdom and experience. Okay. Whenever I talk about the difference between how these two planets attain enlightenment, Venus attains enlightenment through sensation of experience of sensation, while Mercury attains enlightenment through knowledge. So if you think of an apple, Venus tastes the apple, feels the weight of the apple, smells the apple, loves the apple, maybe doesn't know the name of it, maybe doesn't know anything about the apple other than how it feels. Whereas Mercury knows everything from the seed to the stem of the apple. And now you have these two energies combined on top of that peaking evolutionary energy that we're feeling. All of this is in Pisces. So these are going to manifest opportunities to align to the inner light of truthful energy. And it's very, very powerful because Mercury's right there between us and the sun. If this energy is blocked for you at all, if you're not feeling this, if you're not vibing with this, this might manifest as hiding behind knowledge seeking. So just getting into the books and not experiencing, or overly experiencing in a greedy way. Okay. There can be a deceitfulness and a craftiness to this energy. So as Mars enters Aquarius, it's the energy of friends. It's the energy of our collective experience. It's the energy of our soul tribe. So he is going to fight for the good of all. That's what he wants to do in Aquarius energy. So he's going to maybe act in not instinctive ways, but maybe ways that are unusual too. So that's going to be a little bit of a shift of energy as that nodal energy peaks. Then on the 21st, the sun enters Aries. That's right. It doesn't do it on March 21st in constellational astrology. Aries begins on April 21st. So this is that new solar cycle, that new hero's journey. It's the awakening of the force of the development of the ego. It's asserting the will and conquering the world through activity. So it's going to be a nice change of pace. All this sublime, juicy Pisces energy, you're now going to be feeling the will and the activity energy of Mars, but also as the sun enters Aries, you're going to have more Martian energy. So you're going to have the initiation you're going to have so much energy. You won't be weary. You're going to have a daring energy, a pioneering energy. You're going to feel carefree. It's going to be contagious. We're all going to feel very optimistic, and there's going to be a vigorous joy of living right here as this energy comes in on the 21st. So there could be renewed energy with impatience, and you could substitute pioneering with stubbornness, and there could be a reckless egotism here too. So we do have to watch the dark side of all of these energies. Now, I thought I'd mention a quick little minor aspect since it's all such beautiful energy. Venus is going to semi-sextile Jupiter and Uranus in Aries. Now, remember, they just did a sextile. Now they're even closer together. This is like 30 degrees. And what's so interesting about constellational astrology as opposed to tropical is that when you discuss semi-sextiles, for example, in tropical astrology, it's two different elements working unharmoniously together, right? But you can actually have the same element working together with semi-sextiles and constellational astrology, like if they're both in Pisces or they're both in Virgo. That's not the case this time. But basically what you're looking at is a fire and water energy. So let's go back. We are on the days of the 22nd to the 23rd. So here's where it's at. Venus semi-sextiling this fire energy. So harmonious inspiration, creation, working with the expansive faith in the self. So water and fire, how would you work with those two things together? Well, fire is spirit and water is soul, right? So it's the spirit and the soul working together from the bottom of the ocean to the top of the volcano. On the 23rd, we've got another Virgo full moon. Let me get out that calendar. We have another Virgo full moon right here. And this should wrap up the immediate energy of the eclipses, and we should start moving into a whole brand new energy. Any unfinished business from the eclipses from last October will be completed by this, and then some new energies will come in, and then we'll deal with those for the next 6 months. Now, Jupiter is entering Taurus, but still conjunct with Uranus. So what is Jupiter in Taurus? And the reason I mention this is because Taurus is Venus's constellation. She rules that constellation, and Jupiter is entering that space. Now, tropical astrologers said that this happened on May 16th of 2023. And it's been about a year since I did a video when everyone was saying Jupiter's in Taurus. I was like, is it really? I looked in the sky and it wasn't. So I basically said, okay, well, maybe this is energy we can look forward to next year. And in fact, this is where we are now. So the planet of expansion entering the stability and security and the pleasure that comes with the Taurus energy. It's a great opportunity for all things that grow. It's a great time for abundance in the areas of finance and love and beauty. So I am looking forward to this. This should be about a 2-year transit, a little bit more through Taurus. So maybe you've had some seeds, some financial seeds. Now they're about to grow. Any creative ideas, now they're about to grow. There's going to be a beautiful expansion here in Taurus with Jupiter entering into that space. Now, here's where another semi-sextile takes place. So you've got Venus semi-sextiling on Mars. She's still in Pisces. So now you've got water and air together. So if air is your mind and water is the soul, it's the mind of the soul working with the two polarities of the divine feminine and the sacred masculine. These are ancient polarities. These are the first distortions of the oneness of source, male and female, feminine and masculine. And you need them both. You need them to be balanced. And this might be a really great opportunity to, reconnect with the polarity, either within yourself or if you're coupled with your other. So a flowing energy between divine polarities. It's a great time for just a dreamy, juicy romance too. So let's see. As the nodal energy for Venus wanes off, we have Venus in a square to Pluto. This is the only really tough aspect here. It's at the end of April after the eclipse is over. It is it's from the 26th basically to May 4th. So what's happening here is that Pluto is actually stationing. Pluto, even though it's really, really slow, is slowing down even more. And Venus is going to square on that energy. So there's a tension here. That instability that we're feeling in Capricorn energy externally is now going to move internally once Pluto goes retrograde on May 1st. So halfway through this square with Pluto, this is why it's going to be a little bit of a longer transit for Venus. Instead of just a few days, it's going to be like a good 2 weeks or a good week and a half. So we might begin to reconnect with a deep truth within ourselves, within our own creation, that may or may not be pleasant, but we do have to face it. That's Pluto's job. It's to show us the hidden ugly, the hidden things that we don't want to see in order to attain enlightenment, to purify, to transform. And so we might have to question how we're using our power, the foundations of our bonds and our deep connections with others and with spirit and with ourselves. So I already talked about this long. So this is going to be a long line right here, this yellow line. When we get into May and we do the Aries transits, we're basically going to have Venus close enough to within the orb of the sun to call them conjunct. But her actual perfection of that conjunction is June 4th. And that's the superior conjunction. Okay. So she is drifting farther and farther away from us. And what will happen about mid-May, actually probably sooner, is that Venus is going to disappear from our vision for about 60 days. She's still there. She's still the morning star. But once she perfects her conjunction with the sun on June 4th, she will become the evening star once again. Oh, I love evening stars. So once again, this is like a new moon energy. This is where you kind of put away old things, you set new intentions, and you begin a new cycle of creation all over again. So what do you want to create in the next year and a half? Um, what what are things going to look like for you in terms of the things that you value? What inspires you? What your relationships mean for you? And how do you move forward in that inspiration? So something to think about for the next transit set. And then on the 30th, Venus moves into Aries. And this should be a very hot, inspirational, exciting energy for everyone that is attuned to Venus energy. All right, you guys. That's it for Venus through Pisces. I hope it's a wonderful experience for you. Just remember some of those pitfalls. I would avoid substances. I would get ready to set intentions for that solar eclipse and be ready for the next lunar eclipse, and then start thinking about what you want to do in the next year and a half with your creative energy, with your divine spark. So, guys, join the Fellowship of 13 Signs on Facebook. If you are interested in learning more about Venus, you want to learn more about constellational astrology, that is where I post every day. That is where I update you guys about my courses and my readings. So like this video if you love it, and please subscribe if you're lurking. Thank you for watching this video. I love you. Namaste.